Hello everybody, welcome back. Last we left off, we were fighting our way through this facility to come and attack this Sith pureblood who happens to be right here, conveniently.
I've been expecting you. The fool who defied the Emperor's glorious will. Do you even understand what you threw away when you turned against him? Do you realize what others would give to serve his bidding?
Nobody controls me. Not even the Emperor. My mind is my own.
We all have masters, Jedi. You simply chose the Council over the Emperor. You'll regret that. I suppose I should thank you. You might have become the Emperor's right hand, usurped my lover's rightful place.
Colonel Harith, status report.
The reactor is offline and this area is sealed, Executor. The Jedi is here. Our distraction worked perfectly.
As soon as I'm done killing Colonel Harith, you're next.
You don't understand. We do not fear death, we embrace it. Soon all life on this world will be destroyed. You, me, Kranis, all of us sacrifice for the Emperor's glory. He will become immortal, all-powerful. He will raise up all those who served with true devotion, and together we will rule the galaxy.
One nice thing about dealing with crazy cultists? No prisoners.
You refuse to see the truth. I don't have to defeat you, just slow you down. You've lost.
We will meet again at the Emperor's side, my love.
Let death take us all.
Okay, so their strategy is to slow me down. Don't they know that I'm like some awesome random Jedi that came up through the ranks and can't be slowed down by their pathetic strategic stuff? I guess. Is that a thing? Look, they're just going to continue to throw people at me apparently on this fight. Actually, speaking of this fight, this is actually really different compared to all the other guys that I normally fight. Usually you jump into battle, you pop all your legacy abilities, you laugh, you murder the person, you turn in the quest, and you walk away. That's pretty much what happens usually in these instances. But what's going on here is you attack her, and at a certain point, she will just get super low on HP, and right now I'm checking my email because I'm not expecting it to happen again. But you see it absorbing all the damage. Well, because there's other enemies out, that's why it's being absorbed. So instead, I should jump on these ads like I just did then, and then have to kill these. It was just it was different seeing an actual mechanic in one of these. Usually, it's just like I said, you jump in, you kill the person. You may have to interrupt one or two things. They might knock you back once or twice, but other than that, there's nothing. Rarely are there ever additional mobs that come out. So to have a mechanic, which is actually kind of like a boss mechanic from Flashpoints or even Operations, where she shields herself and I have to kill all the ads in the meantime while she's even hitting at me. So if I had Kira, I probably would have died there. I'm glad I'm using Doc for this.
Let's get this up and running again.
Thank you for slaying Colonel Harith. Her death at your hand has surely marked her as one of the chosen. She will receive a place of honor when the Emperor grants us eternal life.
She's not coming back to life. That doesn't happen.
I may not feel the Force as you do, Jedi, but I know its power transcends death. The spirits of ancient Sith linger in their tombs. Dead Jedi Masters guide their former Padawans. I've heard the tales. I know the truth. This delay has cost you. Now you cannot stop what is to come. The Emperor's will is inevitable.
Pack, come in. Executor Kranis isn't here. He's already gone deeper into the prison.
Maybe we can track him using the prison surveillance systems. Let me see what I can cook up. Republic reinforcements are finally on their way to secure that generator. Head back to my position. I'll start searching for Kranis.
So I guess the Emperor is lying to them, obviously, that they will gain a ton of power by sacrificing not only themselves, but also just murdering random people. It's kind of the thing the Emperor does. He's telling like a half-truth. It's just it doesn't necessarily apply to them, just the Emperor. So might want to notify them of that.
Picking up lots of chatter on the comm network. Here, listen to this.
Alert! Alert! This is Dr. Gantrell. Our sector is overrun. We've taken refuge inside one of the unused containment vaults. This is the only distress call we can send. Can't risk those blood-skin fiends tracking our signal. Dr. Gantrell, out!
What does Dr. Gantrell do for the prison? Is he a medic?
No, a scientist. Dr. Gantrell and his team were working in the high-security wing. Clearance way beyond my position. They all have subdermal tracking chips, so the Republic can locate them in an emergency. Dr. Gantrell must have figured we'd use the chips to find which vault they're hiding in.
I've got a bad feeling about this. What if Kranis is setting us up?
We either pursue this, or sit here and wait for Kranis to blow up the planet. The Imperials disabled all the monitoring stations, but if you repair them, I can pinpoint Dr. Gantrell's location.
We can't afford to waste time chasing our tails.
We still don't know the Imperials plan to destroy Belsavis, but there must be a reason he's after Dr. Gantrell. Call me when you get the monitoring stations up and running. I'll use them to locate the doctor.
So this isn't the first time I've had to go and save a random person, let alone a doctor. It seems to be quite the common occurrence, or a common occurrence for me as a Jedi Knight, which is it's kind of telling, I guess, of the name. I mean, the name says that I'm a knight, and obviously, knights in medieval times were often construed as people who would go save princesses. Well, actually, that came about way after medieval times. But look, listen. That's a thing. It's misconstrued, and that's I think that's something that they want me to realize about my Jedi Knight, is that I must go save people. Oddly enough, they never give me a female, which is something entirely on its own. I'm pretty sure the game is trying to tell me something about that, but I won't get angry at it. Instead, we will talk quite a bit more about the whole Revan thing, because it's actually a really important part of this story. If you want to know more about the Revan story in the Old Republic, he's been around quite a while, and he's still alive. Spoilers. So if you want to know more about that, you can find out by doing a flashpoint. I think there's a couple quests on the Republic side, and then if you go do specifically the False Emperor quest, is it the False? It's not a quest either. It's a flashpoint. I don't think it's False Emperor. It's Foundry. That's it. The Foundry flashpoint on the Empire side. Then once again, you get to meet Revan, which is quite cool. And there's also a quest lead up to that, I'm pretty sure. So if you want to know more about Revan, those are the places to go. There's also a Revan book out. It is very good. I've read through a little bit of it. I haven't been able to finish it, just haven't had the time. There's also a ton of information on the Wikipedia, or wiki, or whatever you want to call it. Look, it's called a Wikipedia. So those are things to go look at if you want to know more about Revan, but specifically pertaining to my Jedi Knight, which is what we all care about. I mean, right? So basically, as I said in the past episode, Revan went from being a Jedi Knight to a Sith back to a Jedi. Now, I think, I guess at first glance, you would look at that and you would say, well, he's a flip-flopper. He's never gonna figure it out. But if you look at his motivations and stuff, it kind of changes around. The way he was even corrupted a bit with the dark side kind of changes how that is viewed. And I think that's the way, or that's the approach my Jedi Knight takes when studying that entire storyline. So basically, you've got this guy who, like I said before, tried to defeat the Sith, and in order to do so, he did turn to the dark side, and he used the whole learning about his enemy to his advantage, right? that's what my Jedi Knight wants to do. That's what my Jedi Knight feels inclined to do, which is why he takes the dark-sided choices. So that's important on my Jedi story, as I said in the past episode, because that kind of gives you more of a clarification on why he does the things he does. Yes, he had some runnings-ins with the Sith when he was younger, and especially with his brother, who is now, after the series is over, is becoming the... actually, I guess more accurately, within like a month of this actually happening in the actual story, his brother, half-brother kind of, becomes the Hand of the Emperor, so that's who replaces Lord Scourge, right? So there's a lot of contact with the Sith, but he actually hates the Sith, and that's why he wants to defeat him. So it's kind of a blend of stuff that happened to him as a child, with stuff that has happened recently with Lord Scourge, teaching him the dark side, and then also all the knowledge that he has about Revan, which changes everything that happens with his motives, right? So that's why he wants to not only defeat the Sith, but also use the dark side to defeat the Sith. So that is pretty much his motives in a nutshell right there. That's where he gets them. So I've been really excited to talk about the Revan thing, because I know that it's a primary part of what actually happens, not only in this story, but my entire legacy. Because, think about this. Revan was a huge linchpin in the whole Mandalorian war things. So basically what happened was Mandalorians like blockaded people. There's this giant war, you don't really need to know about it. But the person who actually kind of took that down and stopped him was Revan and his followers and all that. And if you think about it, this guy's son, Roshak's son, is my bounty hunter. The bounty hunter is a Mandalorian. Spoilers if you haven't done the bounty hunter quest. It leads up to it. It's very obvious. You know it pretty much from level 10 on that's something that's going to happen. So you become a Mandalorian when you're a bounty hunter, and he actually has contact with Mandalore and all this other information on the Mandalorian Wars, which gives my bounty hunter a lot of information about his dad, which he escaped from, basically, was taken away from. So, interesting stuff.
Pack, I fixed all the monitoring stations. Locate Dr. Gantrell.
On it. Scanning now. Found his tracking signal. He and his team are in an underground containment vault. Sending you the coordinates now. I hope you get there before Kranis.
So, interesting stuff moving in the story there, but we must talk about more interesting stuff, which is the bombshell I put on you with the bounty hunter. So, basically, we don't know what happens yet in Chapter 4 and 5 in the Jedi Knight story, but we can assume that the dark-sided stuff gets pretty dark. So, I've extrapolated past that, as you know, as a thinker of my legacy, and or the creator of my legacy even. And what ends up happening is Kira smuggles their son, Roshak's and Kira's son, out of the distance, or out of the reach of Roshak, because Roshak becomes so evil. Kira's kind of got still a conscience about her and doesn't want their son to be related to them. They know that he has this force sensitivity that normal Jedi do, and Roshak's brother is also looking for this guy. So what ends up or from this kid, and what's ended up happening is that they smuggle him away and they give him to a family, and then my bounty hunter, who becomes a bounty hunter, basically becomes a bounty hunter because this family didn't really take good care of them, even though they promised they would. They kind of let themselves go, and he ends up getting into a life of crime and learning how to kill professionally, and that's how he becomes a bounty hunter. But more importantly, it's how he gets into the Empire, which wasn't Kira's intention